everyone, and a warm welcome back to the Euroformula Open Championship. This time for the 2025 season, we meet again at the Algarve here at Portimao, ahead of what will be, I'm sure, a fascinating championship. The temperature is currently stacked at 18 degrees air, 15 degrees track, and 57% humidity. A beautiful day with barely a cloud in the sky, pitch blue across this circuit. And as you can see, we have a few changes ahead of this new campaign, with a new compound of Pirelli tyre being ran this season, and on top of that, the debut of the brand new Dallara 324 chassis, as we of course promised last season, and coupled with that, the Toms supplied engine as well, the TGE 33, that will be marking its first appearance here in this championship, and it's going to be a phenomenal one. That's for sure. And obviously new teams to talk about. We welcome Nielsen Racing to the grid, along with a second BVM car. Just so much to talk about, so much to see. But we have got a whole championship to show you what it's all about. My name is, of course, George Morgan. Joining me back in the commentary box, Chris Stevens. We're going to be in for a real treat here, Chris.
Absolutely, yeah. It's so great to have this new car out on track. The 1.6 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. So smaller and one less cylinder than our old engine, yet somehow it churns out another 35 horsepower. So now 270 brake that these guys are dealing with in a car that weighs just 509 kilos without the driver in it, and a softer Pirelli tyre as well. So we're expecting lap times to be about 2 seconds a lap quicker compared to the previous car, and we're gonna keep an eye on those, because we've got returning drivers from last year. FIFO Barrichello here for Team Motorpark, new drivers as well up and down the field. But to have a team like Nielsen Racing, what a moment for them. A team with so much success in sports car racing, Asian Le Mans Series champions, titles in their home in the UK as well, Corby-based team, but now on their first ever single-seater campaign with a slightly new look as well. If you see the logo on the car, that's Tommy, Sven's horse. Sven Thompson, the team boss there, and this is kind of a full circle moment for him actually, because he worked as a mechanic in the Euroformula Open Championship with Westtech back in the day as well. Yevan David here as well, back with Team Motorpark. We saw what this kid can do in Monza in the finale, won 2 races. Now he's here for a full season. We're very excited to see what the Sri Lankan can do.
Yeah, definitely looking at the championship this season, but it's certainly not going to be easy, and there's plenty of drivers that we could talk about that could make life difficult for him. One driver who's certainly shown a lot of promise so far in free practice is the mighty Timek Kaharczyk, who now joins the championship. Statistically, over the course of his career, has had a wonderful time picking up podiums left, right and centre, as well as race wins. Comes in off the back of a GB3 campaign in 2024, finishing 3rd in the championship with 4 wins, 3 pole positions and 11 podiums to boot. Also came from the realms of FRECA as well, Spanish F4. Even prior to that, had such success at karting level with the WSK Open Cup, coming second in that. But probably the biggest success as a whole in karting came in the Rock Cup, Italy Nord region, and the Mini Rock 2017, finishing 1st in that championship. So definitely has a lot under his belt, and looking ahead and looking to challenge Yevan David in pursuit of this Euroformula Championship crown. But obviously, as we have seen so many times over the course of the season, this series has brought some of the best and brightest to the forefront here in the world of single-seaters, and especially moving up into Formula One. We have, of course, got names such as Liam Lawson representing out on the grid at the moment. Also, Yuki Tsunoda. Here comes Kaharczyk with the another flying lap here in this session. Goes to the top in the initial. More to come through, though.
So that's already quicker than the pole position time from 2023.
Yep.
It's the last dry session we had. It was wet last year, but pole position in 23 was a 1:37.1. We've already beaten it. That's astonishing.
We're laying down incredible foundations here. Jose Garfias also marking his rear appearance, looking to cross the line, goes second fastest ahead of Fernando Barrichello. That's a 1:37.9. Still a second off the pace of Timek Kaharczyk, and already Kaharczyk has gone fastest again in that first sector with a 30.7 7.58. Yevon David also popping into second fastest, and a big tyre squeal we just heard there as well. Not quite sure who that was, but also we welcome back Ed Pearson, who is also just making his way out on his outlap as well. Michael Shin moving up to third fastest, reappearing in this series after competing last year. Altogether, a fascinating group of drivers here, Chris.
As Garfias looks up again going into the hairpin, but different team for Pearson. He's joined Nielsen Racing. Well, there are other drivers, Sean Rashid and Finn Green as well, so they're both new to the championship. I mean, the effort that's gone into Nielsen's team here to put this together. They're working with Paul Thomas, the former Toyota and Glickenhaus engineer, who's worked with Nielsen on their LMP2 campaigns. They've also brought on board Ayrton Simmons as a driver coach as well. He raced in this championship with RR and DriveX a few years ago. And there's, an awful lot going on as we see Rubens Barrichello in the garage watching his son FIFO, now in his second season of the Euroformula Open Championship. And it was a difficult campaign to start with, but did start to develop later in the season. A win at the Red Bull Ring, that was a real breakthrough moment for the Brazilian.
In really wet conditions as well, really testing conditions.
Very, very difficult. I had a great battle with Michael Shin that day as well, who's back for what is hopefully going to be a full-time campaign after he did 4 rounds last year. As Garfias, that lap there, just 1/1000th of a second slower than Timic Kuracek.
Yeah, Karacek currently at the very top, only 1/1000th of a second separating P1 and 2 right now. Astonishing. 2 drivers making up rookie class. So you see Michael Sheen go back into third fastest. Yevon David and Everett Stack will be representing the rookie classification. Of course, Yevon David getting a little bit of experience last season's Diego Della Torco's 5th fastest as well. But yeah, very fascinating bunch. Timic Karacek now moving into the pits, so we'll come in to reevaluate. There's Jose Garfias back after joining the championship briefly last season alongside Ed Pearson. They would mark their first appearances here in the series, and now we welcome him back once more. And obviously Garfias took a pole last campaign with 4 podiums to boot as well, but even prior to that did reasonably well with 5 podiums in Euro Cup 3, also featured in Fremek as well, Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship, Frecker as well in Formula Regional European Championship, GB3, Nakam F4, where he took 3 wins back in 2019, couple that with 7 podiums, and even prior to that took 4 podiums in Formula Mexico back in 2019. We've had quite a few Mexican drivers come into this series and do reasonably well, and I'm thinking of the likes of, we've seen many of them, including race winners here. Juan Carlos Sistos winning back in 2012 in race 1, so it's definitely produced some grand talents here from Mexico here in this championship, and Diego
as well,
Diego Della Torre and Oleon as well, who's obviously gone on to do so well in F3 in the past.
And Diego Menchaca raced in this championship a few years ago with Campos, didn't he? And of course, he spent a couple of years in the International GT Open as well, of course, another GT Sport organisation series, as Della Torre had a good first sector there. It's sort of fallen away a little bit, and he ends up bailing for pit lane. So what we're seeing here is, at this point, teams are going to be debating, do we do a second run with another fresh set of tyres? That means that at some point in the 2 of the races, we're going to have old boots on the car, because they have just shy of enough tyres to do every session and every race on a brand new set of boots.
I was chatting to Ed Pearson about this, funny enough, and they were talking about the 5 sets they have across the weekend. It's a bit of a chess game that they have to try and manage, because in an ideal world, I was speaking to Ed Pearson, it'd be nice to have a fresh set for the final race in race 3, but it's tricky. Obviously, you never get it 100% right, but this is the juggling act you have to play. There's Yevon David waiting to go back out again in that stunning livery made up of gold and blue, a nice raw blue and gold colour. And back BVM, Giuseppe Mazzotti. He's stacking his chips to the centre of the table this year, Chris. 2 cars in the championship.
Yes, and nice to see Vladislav find a full-time seat as well, because last year, I think the only racing he did was a couple of rounds with us with Motorpark. He won in Barcelona, and he made a wild card in 2023 as well. But after his F4 campaign in Spain, it all started to sort of fall away a little bit in terms of finding budget, finding seats, and finding places to race. Really, so hopefully this is a full-time campaign with BVM, and as you say, going up from 1 to 2 cars. This is Paolo Brajnik. He's back with us in the MV Racing squad, but engine going off there. As the number 9 of Everett Stack, the most part car, just heading back out onto the racetrack. We saw there he's one of the 2 Rookie Trophy drivers, which is, if you're coming from a lower performance series under the age of 18, well, 18 is the maximum age. Everett is currently 18, from Virginia in the United States. So raced in the USF4 and Formula Regional Americas in 2023 before coming over to Europe, joining the AIX Racing team for Italian F4 and Euro 4, which is where he's joining us from. He spent the winter in the Middle East, as many do in the Formula Regional Series there, but now racing in the Euroformula. And then the other driver in the Rookie Trophy is, of course, Yevon David. He's still only 17 years old, from Colombo in Sri Lanka. And that's what his livery reflects as well, the Sri Lankan lion that you see on the flag as well.
And the lion certainly roared back at Monza last season, but now back again. He'll be looking to make it roar again this time around at Portimao. But at the moment, it's Timet Kaharczyk, who we're currently seeing on screen, who has provided BVM with a huge opportunity here this campaign. They took race victory with Francesco Simonazzi last season in race 1, but that came off the back of a Simonazzi pole back last year as well. So looking to go back-to-back in terms of pole positions in qualifying for BVM as an outfit. So for Giuseppe Mazzotti, that would mean a lot. And now moving into the Dallara 324 to be the very first pole sitter with this brand new car here in the Euroformula Open could make quite the impression on this grid. Ed Pearson, who is currently sat 12th fastest at the moment, looking to usher in a decent lap as well. He's just set a 31.072 in the first sector, looking to lift himself off the bottom as he looks to get himself sorted out ahead of the remainder of this qualifying session, the first one of this campaign. And make sure, of course, you stay tuned with us, because it's going to be a storybook, I am sure, right through towards the final round of the championship, which will feature at Monza at the Temple of Speed, as now we watch the 32 car belonging to Sean Rashid, who joins us this season, the man from the United States, also looking to make an impression here on this 12-car grid.
Yes, the Nielsen cars, you can tell them apart. It's the red strip on the front wing for Ed Pearson, the gold one there for Sean Rashid, and then the blue one for Finn Green. And you might think, well, blue for green, but that blue strip has been on, I believe, every Nielsen racing car that they've raced, the LMP2 and LMP3 as well.
Yeah, Ed Pearson going 4th fastest though with a purple final sector. So immediately with the new boots on the car and getting everything set, it certainly seems that it's responding rather well out there. Obviously with the new compounded tyre, obviously softer than what we have seen before. A few of the drivers have been sort of battling with it, just trying to find the right setup to almost make it, more effective around this Portimao circuit. And high load is placed around this track, especially at corners such as Tour of Ip, where you're forced to go all of a sudden into a heavy braking zone section to then fire uphill. A lot of weight to then apply the car moving up towards turn 7, in towards turn 8 as well, and of Samsung. And especially when you get into the technical part of Sector 2, the latter part of Sector 2, heading into Sector 3, you sort of throw in that rear out, as we now see Ed Pearson almost just trying to figure it out a little bit as well. Should I say the 24 as it flies uphill, belonging to Pearson himself. He's gone purple in that first sector, though, marrying up with that purple final sector last time out, Chris. Yeah,
it's personal best in the middle sector as well. I think he was a little bit compromised by Paolo Brajnik through turn 4, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down the Briton too much as he comes through this sort of more technical final sector. He'll be flat out through the final corner, so this is the really important exit here out of turn 14. Plummeting down the hill through the final corner, the Galp corner, and heading up towards the timing line. So he's a 10th up on Kuricik's time so far as he goes over the line, and he does go fastest by just over a quarter of a second. Nielsen Racing's Ed Pearson on top as it stands, but still 4 minutes left in the session, and I'm sure that the drivers from BBM and Motorpark are going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the first British pole position since Louis Foster back in 2021. Of course, now has obviously made his mark in the world of IndyCar. Obviously, Ed Pearson may be looking to follow in the same vein, but immediately fastest here with 3 minutes and 45 to go. Still plenty of improvements though elsewhere on track. Fernando Barrichello also finding time has gone green in the middle sector as well as the first sector. We've also got improvements from Everett Stack. Paolo Brajnik also improving at the bottom, representing gold class, and Ed Pearson improving again in the first sector with a 30.7, but Diego Della Torre going faster than him in that first sector this time and has gone green again in sector 2. So keep your eyes peeled across this circuit as we watch Diego Della Torre, the Mexican, firing his way out of the final sector now through towards turn 15 to bring an end to this lap. Let's see where this is going to place them. I'd imagine we'll see a flurry of cars making their way higher up the order as now Diego Della Torre looks to descend here downhill. Racing in Euro Cup 3 last season as well as Euro 4 back in 2023. Did well in NACAM F4 as well. Let's see where Diego Della Torre goes. 63 thousandths away from Ed Pearson as now we'll see a flurry of cars including Kaharczyk making his way towards the line. Ed Pearson also looking to show pace, and indeed Kaharczyk bringing that time down. Ed Pearson once again improving. 36.6 now, Chris.
Yeah, not bad. So stretches that gap to 800ths of a second, but really great lap from Della Torre coming over from the Euro Cup 3 championship with Santalok Racing last year. And so on his Euroformula debut, that's really impressive stuff. And well, especially when you consider Kuracek as well is also in his first season. But let's see what this lap brings. 2 minutes left on the clock as he rises up the hill out of turn 4 and down the back straight. Della Torre's gone fastest in the first sector though, so this is a really good lap here from the Mexican that's unfolding. Can he snatch pole position away from Pearson? Kuracek's gone even faster by about half a tenth of a second in the first sector to Della Torre. So it's a three-way fight at the moment with just under 2 minutes left on the clock. I'll tell you what, don't rule Garfias out of this either, because his times are really close to Kuracek as well. So this lap from Della Torre wasn't an improvement in the middle sector. It was a fastest middle sector for Ed Pearson just now as well. So the time screen's absolutely lighting up at the moment, but Kuracek absolutely blasting that one out of the water. Nearly half a second up at the moment, but Pearson is on a good lap here as well. So for now, it's Della Torre over the line, currently second fastest. He looks like he's about to make an improvement. No, he just misses out there on an improvement, so stays with a 1:36.773. Next car over the line should be Kuracek. Here comes the Polish driver over the line, expecting this to go fastest. Where is it? There he is, just popped over the screen now. And yes, by 0.4 of a second, a 1:36.272. Absolutely cracking lap there. Pearson, although he did improve in the middle sector, didn't improve on the lap overall. So it's Kuracek back on provisional pole position and BVM on top.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be quite the lap that could yet send him pole and remain on pole as well. We do have, though, plenty of cars still looking to, well, improve on their former lap times, but a mighty gap of just beyond 0.4 of a second, nearly 4 1/4 tenths behind Kaharczyk is Ed Pearson. Michael Shin comes across the line and goes 5th fastest ahead of Fernando Barrichello, who now drops down into 6th place, but it's the pole on pole position thus far. Timet Kaharczyk making quite the impression in his first start in the Euroformula this season. Here in the Dallara 3-2 form, will look to make history as the first driver in this championship to take pole position in this brand new car here at Portimao, and also at the same time look ahead to the rest of the championship, because this can very much set the tone. Remember, of course, throughout the course of the weekend, we do have 3 races to bring you with reverse grid scenarios for the first 6 in race 2, which will be decided by race 1's result, and race 3, the reverse grid of the first 6, will be done off the back of Qualy. So it'll be basically a reverse Qualy scenario of the top 6 from this qualifying session.
Yeah, so that would be FIFO Barrichello,
would be Barrichello.
Currently. Kuracek getting a little bit hampered on this lap, and he's bailed for pit lane, so checkered flags out. And that was one of the Nielsen cars that was trying to get a cheeky slipstream. I think that was Sean Rashid, who just went over the line trying to get a bit of a slipstream, but he's ended up missing the timing line anyway, so yeah, he'll have to come in on this next lap. Vladislav Ryabov just got a improvement right at the end there to go 6th fastest. So that'll give him pole position for race 3, unless Barrichello can take it back. So we're watching the Brazilian at the moment. The middle sector is a little bit off what Ryan Bob managed to do. Well, actually, no, because Michael Shin's gone up to 5th, so that puts Jose Garfias down to Yevon David.
Yevon
suddenly,
David moved up to 2nd.
No, sorry, that's what changed. Yevon David suddenly, with that final lap, going fastest in the final sector there, and just under a quarter of a second away from Timothy Kuracek, and he puts that car on the front row of the grid. So Barrichello will be the last one over the line, and it's 7th fastest for the Brazilian. But yeah, well, that is a real late effort there, and we've got all 3 teams represented in the top 3 after that first qualifying session of the season.
It's the pole on pole. Timothy Kuracek, welcome to the Euroformula Open of 2025. BVM Racing go back-to-back with pole positions in the last 2 seasons, with Simonazzi doing it back in 2024. Well, it's Timothy Kuracek who now registers his name as the very first driver to take a Dallara 324 to the top spot on the grid. I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with that. What an effort. And we're certainly rubber stamping his, his qualities there on track. We did, of course, discuss the Pride Championships that he has been part of, has been so successful in terms of grabbing podiums, poles and victories in the past. Well, a victory here looks like it could be in prospect. Let's take you through the classification. It will be Timothy Kuracek at the very top of the shop, with Yevon David, thanks to the obviously the stupendous lap right at the very last minute, going purple in that last sector, a 1:36.498, just to figure in behind Timothy Kuracek. Ed Pearson in 3rd place for Nielsen Racing. The 3 teams, different teams inside the top 3. Diego Della Torre 4th, Michael Shin 5th, Jose Garfias in 6th, with Fernando Barrichello 7th, Vladislav Ryabov in 8th, Everett Stack in 9th, and Sean Rashid in 10th place. Further down, we have Finn Green in 11th, then in 12th, Paolo Brajnik representing Gold Class and NV Racing at the back end of the order. So it's Kuracek to catch. Question is, can they, Chris?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
We certainly will. Well, we're just about to head across. Interview with Timothy Kuracek.
Timothy Kuracek. First pole man of the season in Euroformula, in your very first appearance in this series. How was it?
Yeah, I think it was great. The lap itself was not that perfect, to be fair, but it was good enough, so yeah, happy about that. I think we had a really strong pace throughout the weekend, and we just proved that in Qualy, so happy.
And you just tested for the first time the car last week, and immediately you seem to feel very at ease.
Yeah, not much of running in that car before this race weekend, but it's like this. It's never easy. I'm just happy that I can prove myself and be here, and being on pole is just great result for the team, for me, and yeah, happy to do that. Now we have to bring it on for the races.
Well done, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Thank you.
All the best.
Well, what a stunning performance, and we'll see whether he can take it from lights to flag. Join us at 5:25 local time later on this afternoon. Goodbye.